This is a show made for you, Tri-States.
Focused on community.
With local nonprofits.
Reaching out to you.
Providing a resource to all.
This is Tri-State Impact.
Hello and welcome to the first ever episode of Tri-State Impact. I'm Bradley Preer. Joining us today on the first ever episode is Jared McGovern from the Mississippi River Museum in Dubuque. And Jared, it's a pleasure to have you here. And April is all about Earth.
Yeah, nobody told me that this was the first one. Congratulations. I'm honored.
Thank you. And so, Jared, with April 22nd coming up being Earth Day, you guys obviously huge fans of the Earth and the River Museum and the river. So much so that you guys are celebrating the entire month of April. What do you guys have planned for this month's Earth Day's festivities?
You know, I tell you that Earth Day is it's a really important day, right? It's one of those things where everybody really celebrates doing your part and what we can do as individuals, but also as communities, institutions, nationwide in order to help the Earth. But you know, the National Mississippi River Museum and Aquarium, that's every day. That's 365 days a year, because our mission here at this organization is to inspire stewardship through educational experiences where rivers and history come alive. So, but because that day is so widely known, and because that day is going to be a collective day of celebration on Earth Day, we as a member of the Association of Zoos and Aquariums are joining our 200 other member institutions, and we're going to be partying for the planet on Saturday, April 24th. But throughout that month, we are also going to be offering different volunteer opportunities with area partners to get our community out in the field, doing work, helping to steward the Mississippi River around the Dubuque and tri-state area.
That's awesome, Jared. And you mentioned Party for the Planet. It's on April 24th. What does it cost as far as joining you guys on that day? And what do you guys all have planned for the big day?
Party for the Planet. So that, like I said, there's 200 facilities that are accredited by the Association of Zoos and Aquariums. Collectively, we're going to see around 200 million people come through our doors on a normal year. 2020 was not one of those years. This year, we're extremely hopeful that we'll be able to welcome guests and inspire stewardship like we have been for the last 15 years or so since the River Museum opened as the National Mississippi River Museum and Aquarium. But what we're going to be doing on Saturday, April 24th, is we're going to be celebrating the conservation efforts of a lot of our area partners. You know, the National Mississippi River Museum and Aquarium, we do a lot of really great things with conservation. Our living collections team is doing some amazing work with corals and Wyoming toads, as well as Russian legless lizards and Laotian salamanders. There's a lot of really great things happening internally at the River Museum. We're also working with freshwater musselhead, starting with U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. And we are going to be working with area partners starting this year to head start pollinator plants to advocate for native landscaping and advocate on behalf of the monarch butterfly and its many other pollinator friends. But on the 24th itself, we're welcoming area partners such as the Natural Resource Conservation Service, the Army Corps of Engineers, Boy Scouts of America are going to be here showcasing some of the advocacy work that they themselves do and some of the adventure work that they do. We will have partners from Green Iowa, from AmeriCorps here at the River Museum, as well as Good Neighbor Iowa, which is a program that the Center for Energy and Environmental Education at the University of Northern Iowa facilitates, where they work to inspire people to decrease the amount of pesticide that we use when managing our yards, to manage our yards for wildlife, and to plant native when working in our landscaping. So it's going to be a big day. We also have some special presentations at the museum, raptor presentations. We have a new raptor roost, and it'll be the grand opening of a conservation greenhouse that will be installed, cross your fingers, next week. It was supposed to happen this week. Have you looked out the window lately? It's coming down pretty good out there. Welcome to Iowa in March, right?
Yeah, no doubt about that. And Jared, you touched about some new stuff happening. And of course, another thing coming and just a little farther down the road from what I've seen, but coming up this summer, it looks like you guys have this cool new exhibit called Splash and Bubbles that I'm seeing everywhere on social media. What is it? When is it arriving? And what can people look forward to on it?
May 15th is when Splash and Bubbles is going to be opening at the National Mississippi River Museum and Aquarium. This is an exhibit that is included in your admission. If you come down and visit the River Museum, if you're a member, you'll have an opportunity to experience this over and over and over again. Splash and Bubbles is a PBS cartoon that showcases adventures of fish in ocean ecosystems. And it's a Jim Henson production, and the company that put this together is the same company who had Sid the Science Kid that we had previously here at the museum, as well as our Once Upon a Time exhibit, Magic House in St. Louis. So the same exhibit design company, only in this exhibit, we are going to be showcasing things like ocean sciences, ocean exploration, stewardship, and different actions and pledges that people can take in order to help our oceans. And one of the major ways we can help our oceans is by managing our land, especially large watersheds like the Mississippi River's watershed. And that's one of those things that we're really excited about with this particular exhibit, is not only do we get to make connections with young people and wildlife, but it's a new way for us to show and share the message of the impact that we in Dubuque and here in Iowa have, and Illinois and Wisconsin and Minnesota and all these upper Midwestern states, on the Gulf of Mexico through water. It's going to be a very fun summer. It's a very cool exhibit. I'm really excited about it.
Jared, that sounds like a sweet exhibit. Really looking forward to it. All those PBS things are pretty sweet, honestly. And you mentioned a little bit briefly there, COVID-19's kind of made things a little bit different for you guys last year, not being able to be as welcoming to people coming in, having to do some virtual stuff. How has that affected the museum over the last year? And then how are you guys proceeding as we sort of start to get back to that new normal?
Well, it wasn't easy. You know, the National Mississippi River Museum and Aquarium, we were forced to shut down for about 10 weeks, about this time actually last year. I think it was St. Patty's Day. And I'll never forget that, because on St. Patrick's Day, it was my son's first St. Patrick's Day, and all the bars in Iowa closed on my son's first St. Patrick's Day. I'm going to tell him that story for the rest of his life. But, and then I'll also blame him. I'm just kidding. I won't do that. I won't put that burden on my little boy. But the River Museum, when we closed for those 10 weeks, there was a lot of pivoting that needed to be done. There was a lot of innovation, a lot of grit, a lot of resiliency showed by our team. And one of the really tough things was continuing to share our message, continuing forth with our mission to inspire stewardship and care for the animals at the River Museum, as well as the artifacts in which we steward, but it was also remaining relevant within the community. So we did shift quite a bit, a lot of virtual content, a lot of new marketing and educational experiences were developed through this. I myself shifted to doing pretty much everything outside. And instead of looking at, what did we have planned for the summer, we looked to our partners and found out ways that we could help them. So we have so many community partners that are doing so many great things in Dubuque, River Museum being one of those institutions, but just one of them. So we reached out to our partners and we're like, hey, what can we do to help you? And that's what we did. We helped them, because we recognized that we weren't the only one experiencing the stress and the uncertainty. So it was really exciting, because I feel as though we came closer with a lot of our partners, and our community actually became closer, which was really exciting. Our community of conservationists on the upper Mississippi River here. And when we were able to reopen, we took all of the necessary precautions, because we did need to reopen. We needed to open our doors, but we wanted to do so as safely and responsibly as possible. In fact, we invited an infectious disease expert with Unity Point Health, who walked through with us, pointed out some of the different safety priorities and precautions that we should be focusing on. We've implemented these strategies. We're a 14-acre campus at the River Museum with plenty of outdoor space. So we have been seeing more and more people come back to us, and we're extremely appreciative of the support that the community is showing and allowing us to continue to do our work. And as I usually call it, it's not a job, it's a purpose. So thank you. Thank you for supporting us at this time. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, Jared. And for those that are interested in learning more about what you guys are doing on Earth Day and the following Saturday with Party for the Planet, where do they find out more about all the fun you guys have going on?
rivermuseum.com. That's our website, or check us out on social media on our Facebook page, and just go ahead and search National Mississippi River Museum and Aquarium in that search bar. It should pop up, click on it, like us, share it. We love Dubuque, we love the Tri-States, and thank you again. Get outside, celebrate Earth Month, find a way that you can take and make positive action, because people, right? We're the problem. Most, conservation is a construct that we created. You can't have conservation without people. You don't need conservation without people. But we are also the solution. And so please approach your April, approach your year from that mindset that we are the solution. We can make a difference. It is possible. And we look forward to showing you ways during our week celebration at the River Museum and during Party for the Planet that you can move forward and take action on behalf of this big, beautiful blue and green ball, right? There's white in there too. I mean, I'm thinking like the International Space Station view right now, but yeah, whites, blues, some browns in there. It's really nice. Green.
Indeed, indeed. Well, thanks again for joining us, Jared. We really appreciate you being here on the first episode.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it too. Thank you so much.
Not a problem. And don't forget to join us next episode as we talk with Nick Schlosser from the Dubuque Police Protective Association. I'm Bradley Preer. This has been Tri-State Impact.